So there are 4 types of people who just get a lot more done than others. It's not due to their routines or fancy drinks or even their Notion setup. It's really about what they do. And in this first archetype, we're talking about the volume guy. The volume guy just looks at the schedule and is like, how much openings do I have to sneak in more work? If this is the normal person who works morning, lunch, break, and then they work in the afternoon, they're like, let me work early morning, let me cut the break short a little bit, and then we work a lot in the evenings, and maybe, how about this, all Saturday, all Sunday. This goes against every work-life balance thing in the media right now. Every thought leader on LinkedIn will disagree with this. You know who wouldn't disagree with this? Kobe Bryant. Every one of these archetypes gets an example, and Future, who both grind every single day, especially when they're coming up multiple times a day, 3 to 4 times a day, training sessions for Kobe. Future not leaving the studio at all, sleeping in the dungeon, in the basement while he's just learning and getting better. To show you how antithetical this is to what is acceptable now, here's a case study using LinkedIn. All right, here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. We have LinkedIn post from LinkedIn News. So this is mainstream approved, and it has a lot of engagement in posts, and it's about my evening routine as the CEO of Atlantic. So in here, Nick is talking about how he likes sports. He goes for a run, he runs home, he hangs out with his kids and his family. And it's like a mix of, I guess, personal health and familial bonding. And I guess the implication here is that this helps him at his job, be a CEO, make good decisions, and just have a good life. And everyone agreeing with him really reinforces this idea that this is the right thing to do, that this is good. And honestly, Nick seems real cool. He seems like a cool guy. He's fit, he's successful, and I'm blurring out the names and titles of these people. So this is actually all blurred, but what I'll save you the time of is a lot of these people at the top are life coaches or executive coaches or agency owners or literally just looking for work. So the fact that they're agreeing with this is interesting. The other thing interesting is that, you know, even though Nick's playing guitar and just being a chill guy now, he didn't become CEO by doing this. I don't know his routine coming up, but I know from just a small look at his accolades, he has a long history of working really hard and achieving at a high level, from winning a scholarship to getting into interesting occupations to having breakout successes as a journalist to 7xing his readership while at the New Yorker to moving up and winning prizes. So it's not like you can just wake up and have all those accolades while doing that. I feel like that's what's missing here. It's like an over glorification of the phase when you're already successful, and then you can take it slow and have your CEO mentality and have a life and a family. But if you're young Nick Thompson and you're trying to become CEO, this is not how it happens. I'm sorry. Okay, this is a really good counterpoint to the LinkedIn article, because that was all about after work routine of a CEO, and this is a study on what a bunch of CEOs did during work time, how they manage their time. One interesting finding is that on average, these 300 CEOs that they followed for, I think, 3 months, or maybe as even 1,000 CEOs or so, 3 months they tracked in 15-minute increments, and the average amount they worked was 62 hours, I believe. Yeah, 62.5 hours a week on average. So they're working a lot. They're always in meetings. They are constantly pulled into things, or things are on fire. They have to fix things. They're talking with people, holding people accountable, traveling. They're very disciplined about their time with their family. They have to get a lot of good sleep, and they have to stay healthy in order to maintain that kind of a schedule. And I think this is more realistic. I mean, not realistic. This is the facts. This is the facts of what high-performing CEOs do to live and succeed. One final pitch for the volume approach is that now that intelligence and code specifically are so commoditized, the differentiation might just become volume now. So you can build whatever you want right now. And what's stopping you from doing it? What's stopping you from creating the next thing? Only the amount of time you're spent in front of the AI typing to it. So maybe it's just time to do more. I love this one. I get fired up to just be like, how can I sneak out a couple more hours of time? Next one, Archetype 2, the exponential guy. We all hear these things about scale, about network effects, exponential, but it's helpful to see it. This is your average business school grad consultant, starts out real hot here, gets a pay bump, gets a pay bump, gets a pay bump, a little more pay bumps. You know, you do well, you get raises, but this guy hits some inflection point and then he is gone. And I'm not just talking about net worth here. I'm talking about productivity. I'm talking about getting things done. And this point, you're not good. I mean, this is where I'm at right now, clearly. It sucks and everyone quits and everyone else looks like they're better than you because they're making more money and they're having more success visibly. But until you get really good and then you are in a domain where you can have assets, you can deploy things quickly, code in my example, or IP like books, your writing, your word, your videos, they can pop off and you can really reach a new height. Once you get down to this machine, good luck stopping that guy, you know? Good luck stopping that guy. And who's the guy? Who's the archetype? Right now I pick Sam Altman. Now he had some successes before what he's doing now, but this was 10 years for him in OpenAI, just figuring out how things work. And now in 2023, that was probably right here. Now it's 2025 and they're up here and they're only going higher. Just amazing how quickly that can shift. Third archetype, the producer. The producer, someone who just sees life not as how can I relax, what can I do, but like what can I build, what can I create for other people. And that's all they do. They're just cranking out videos. They're cranking out books. Stephen King would be a great example of that. Just his volume of production is incredible. And I'm not talking about inputs as much. That was the first one. This is about like what you're creating. So the package itself is less complex than, say, artificial general intelligence. It's more about volume. The archetype I picked aside from Stephen King would be Joe Rogan, who has just made so many podcasts. It's really remarkable just how many of these lines he's created as opportunities for you to take in his stuff. Finally, the one I think is slept on a little bit, the tribe leader. The tribe leader is more about environment. It's about setting things up so everything's integrated. This is health, this is fitness, this is community, this is work, this is what you're taking in, these are norms. It like all feeds into each other in a beautiful way because you have your tribe, you have your people around you. I picked Tim Ferriss for this one. Might be unconventional, but he has architected a life for himself where he attracts the right person, he gets them in his network, he does good work with them. An anti-example, or maybe an example that's just as good, is you in high school. Whatever you did in high school, you attracted people and you created some kind of environment for yourself. And you might have been pulled in one way or another naturally, but then this environment pulled you back to where they are headed. So if you were the smart person and you're around other smart people, then you probably studied more just to reinforce that belonging in the tribe. If you were the jock, if you were the sports guy, and you liked math and you liked science, but like all you guys were partying and you probably studied a little less. It's very simple, really. I think this is completely different way of thinking about why some people achieve more than others, because the normal archetype is not the producer, it's not the tribe leader, it's not the volume guy, and it's not someone who's playing in an exponential game who's willing to put in 10 years of suckiness in the middle. It's kind of someone who just skates through life. These are the people you grew up with, these are probably your coworkers, these are over 90% of people, and they see these archetypes as like weird or extreme or not cool. And that's exactly why they are where they are. And they don't want to be any of those things, and they're not going to be. So it's not a judgment on them. I am yapping about this here, and yet I don't have an exceptional track record to show you. I don't have 4 company exits. I don't have $1 billion. I don't have $1 million. I don't have 1 million followers. But I can tell you that I did everything wrong. I went every way that you could go instead of doing something like this and actually getting results. And I'm finally starting to look back at those decisions over the last 10 years of my life and be like, yeah, I messed up because I saw things differently, and the way I saw it was not helpful for what I wanted out of life. So I am changing that. I've completely shifted how my life is structured and who I associate with. Speaking of, you'll find if you want to embody one of these, you will find it very hard to find other people who want the same. They will say they want the same, but you'll watch their actions and they will show you that they don't. That is why, since I don't currently live in a big hub where I can just go down the street and see a bunch of tech people or high achievers like in New York or San Francisco, I'm currently in Wisconsin, in a smaller town in Wisconsin. That is why I have a form at the bottom here for you to sign up for a private community, unpaid, free in other words. However, you can only get into the community if you demonstrate a daily practice of volume. This is a community of volume people who want to be not average. So we are putting in the work. We're in the middle right now, but we're putting in the friggin' work. I love being around these people, yet it's so hard to find them. You have to fill out a really quick, 5-minute application or screening to see if it would be a good fit. If you're not sure you want to be the volume person, don't join, just subscribe. I can see you in the next video. No harm, no foul. Those are the 4 archetypes of people who just get more done than others, and why. See you in the next video.